I'm going to try to talk as fast as I can and go through all of these windows I have open as quickly as possible. I wanted to share an important word that the Lord gave me on the morning of the 13th of February, just a couple days ago, 3 days ago, right before I woke up. He said there will be a collapse within a collapse. And that was the specific word that the Lord gave me. And I knew what it was referring to, the economic collapse, the collapse of the dollar. And I felt that the second collapse would be of society. So I prayed about it, and then that night of the 13th, the morning of the 14th, he confirmed that to me with another dream showing me that the economy would go out, and then there would be civil unrest. There would be collapse of civilization, meaning not civil, just chaos going on. The Lord gave me a warning about this very thing, about an economic crash and destruction coming to America back in September. And we know from the news media, as well as other Christians that are sharing on YouTube and with others, that this is going to happen. It's just a matter of time. The only reason that the economy hasn't collapsed yet is because, one, I believe the Lord is having mercy, letting those that are hearing these messages get prepared. Time's basically almost up now, so the sooner you can get basic food, water, and necessities that you would need for survival, the better, because he's been warning us for a couple 2 to 3 years now that I know of, at least for me, that we need to be prepared. So, and two, I believe it hasn't happened yet because the government is trying to keep it at bay by printing more money. They're printing, trying to keep this at bay, but it's only going to work for so long, and it's going to implode. So when he gave me that word 3 days ago, it was like the last warning in my mind, for me to get whatever essentials I needed or preparations that I hadn't finished done, so that me and my family would be ready. And he's not just having me become ready just to help myself and my family. He's already shown me personally that he's going to use me to lead others to him, to witness to them, and bring them into a relationship with him through the hard times that are coming. He's going to use that to draw people to him, and also they're going to witness how the Lord works and how he does take care of his people. So he's shown me and another friend of mine that we're going to help provide for these people as well, essentials and some food for those that he leads to us. So it's not just for my own, but it's also for others that the Lord reveals to me to help. So I would ask that you pray and seek the Lord on this. It's definitely drawing really close, and we just need to make sure that we're prepared and we're not caught off guard. And some people will say, oh, they've been saying that the economy is going to crash ever since 2008. Well, it's going to. It's a definite, and just because we live in the United States of America doesn't mean that we're immune to this happening. Look at what happened with the Great Depression. And we're not, I believe that it's pride that gets into people's minds where they say that this could never happen to us here in America, how strong and how, awesome we are now. So pride comes before the fall. There is going to be a fall. Many are going to be caught off guard. It's going to be a time of great testing and falling away, as well as revival and outpouring of His Spirit and drawing others that perhaps haven't known Him to Him. With that said, there's a few people, I'll leave links to these. Ron Paul, this was made in April, so I found these videos. Some I've heard and some I just found while I was researching yesterday and today. But Ron Paul speaks out about the economic collapse. He basically is stating that it's happening now and to protect yourself and to be prepared. And he said this in April. But most experts, even economists, are saying that they foresee that it will happen before the end of this year. All right, especially by the end of the fall of this year. Okay, this person, how I see it, his video was made here just a couple weeks ago. Collapse happening now. There is going to be massive civil unrest, and he talks about this article that was printed on January 26, 2016, showing how there's every indicator that we're already in an economic freefall. Joni Stall was on a minute to midnight radio show, and she has 3 parts, and it's a lot of what the Lord has shown her, the Lord has also shown me. So it was very confirming to what He's shown me, and I think it's important to listen to. So I'll leave a link to her first, second, and third parts. This one is Survive Economic Collapse 2016. So she also, not only has the Lord shown her things specifically, but she also works for, I think she's probably like a food server or something, but she says she works and she's in contact with a lot of elite people, and they've revealed some of their plans to her as well, just on side discussions. All right. Mina Lee Grover, she's a prophetess, and the Lord speaks to her, and He showed her in this radio show. She was asked to come on and share, I forget which show it is. Anyways, I'll leave a link. She was shown by the Lord, Black Horse Economic Collapse, suspended elections in 2016 because of civil unrest, which both of those confirm. I guess this was made back in May. I had to look for, she has a few different videos, but this one specifically addresses the economy and the suspended election due to the chaos. The Lord's also revealed to her that martial law was coming, and He's shown me that too way back in a video. I'll leave a link to my video where He told me that we would be under total control by January 2017. So this right here, a lot of things the Lord's revealed to me, He's revealed to her as well. And then on a minute to midnight again, they had Michael Snyder on there, and on January 26th, and his topic was worst economic troubles are ahead through 2016. And so he discusses the stock market and the Baltic Dry Index, how the shipping, the commerce is not going out or coming in, and that we should prepare to weather the economic storm that's coming. Okay. This website is AmericanConservativeDailyNews.com. I'll leave a link for the news articles. This one talks about the collapse will happen in May 2015. I don't necessarily pinpoint an exact time for it, although there are economists that say it's already started in January and it's just going to get worse from here. So I'll leave a link to this. There was something I wanted to look at down here. My browser is going slow because I have too many windows open here. Anyways, let's see. Let me pause for a sec. Anyways, I'll leave a link and you can just go read through this if you choose on useconomy.about.com. There's this article about U.S. economy collapse, and this was on January 7, 2015, and it's talking about the 2008 crisis and the Great Depression and what will happen when our economy does give out and what you can do to protect yourself. Okay. And will the U.S. economy collapse? So I'll leave a link for this. All right. Some of the recent YouTube and news articles deal with showing how different countries are having crisis right now. And Venezuela, this was just put up by Elite NWO Agenda on February 15, so yesterday. Venezuela is out of food, declares economic emergency and food crisis. Are you prepared? Are you prepared in case there are food lines? There's no food at the stores. You know, if you're getting rationed food or the prices skyrocket. So it's happening right now in Venezuela, which is not a third world country. Okay, and you know, we have so many comforts here in the United States. We're actually pampered and spoiled. We don't sleep on dirt floors like they do in Africa or have no clean water. We have water that just comes out of the tap. But in California, where I live, we have a drought, and we're a major supplier of produce for the nation. However, water is scarce, and it's going to just be more expensive to water those crops. Thus, the food prices are going to go up just due to that alone. The longer the drought, the more it's going to cost for that food, and there's going to be a scarcity of it. But we don't sleep on dirt floors. We have water coming out of our pipes. You know, we have hot water, we have electricity, air conditioning, heaters, warm, cozy beds. But just imagine if you had to sleep on the ground in a tent and find water and food. These are the kind of things that you should prepare for. In my mind, I tell people, you know, they should practice using no electricity, and even if they're just at home or camping for exercise and for that experience. Okay, so here's another news article about Venezuela. It'll pop up in a second. Here's activistpost.com with a news article from the 14th. Venezuela's out of food. Here's what an economic collapse really looks like. In front of the supermarket, there's a line that looks like a line going into like a baseball game or coming out of a baseball game. They're out of food. And after several years of long lines, rationing, and shortages, the socialist country does not have eleugh food to feed its population. And the opposition government has declared a nutritional emergency. This is just the most recent nail in the beleaguered country's slow, painful economic collapse. Many people expect an economic collapse to be shocking, instant, and dramatic, but really it's far more gradual than that. Sort of like a frog getting heated up in a pot of water slowly. They don't just throw it into a boiling pot of water so that it can jump out. And it says it looks like empty shelves, long lines, desperate government officials trying to cover their tissues and hungry people. For the past 2 years, I've been following the situation in Venezuela as each shocking event has unfolded. Americans who feel that our country would be better served by a socialist government would be wise to take note of this timeline of the collapse. Yeah, so think twice about voting for Bernie Sanders. Okay, but I think it won't matter, because by the time this year's over, I don't think it's going to matter. So, as this person was saying, you're not going to see, it's not going to be an instant, and that's why people are saying that they've already seen it start. Personally, I just went to a Target yesterday, and when I was looking at the shelves, there were many different shelves in different sections of the store that had little red sticker signs in front of it under the empty shelf where the items would be saying out of stock, we'll try to reorder, or something like that. I was going to take a picture of the signs. So they're out of stock on a lot of different items. Okay, wrong number on the phone. Going to the next one by the Washington Post. This was posted, sorry, my browser, February 11th. Says, prepare for the worst, Venezuela is heading toward complete disaster. And here's a long line of people waiting for food. Okay, I'm not going to leave a link to all those, but you can search that and Google that for yourself. Right here on February 16th, which is today over on the east side of the world, is North Korea on verge of collapse. South Korea's president warned that North Korea faces collapse if it does not abandon its nuclear bomb program. So North Korea is looking at a collapse. On Forbes, let's see. I'm sorry, this was the wrong one. This is Huffington Post. It says former finance minister of Greece reveals the current state of the Greek economy, and it's not good. This was just today, or no, yeah, 2016 in the east side of the world. So it's today there, or it's the 16th there already. But just because they had their economic fall months ago, it's still not in a good situation. All right. This is an article showing about the shipping, the Baltic Dry Index, and how commerce has halted, and it's the lowest it's been. This was January 11, the lowest it's been since they've been measuring it. So it's the lowest it's been in recorded time. So it's down here. Here's where it was January 8th at 429, below 500. It's never been over there. It was close at the beginning of 2015, but you know, they bumped it up, and then now it's back down here. It's even dropped more in the last week, they said. So it's like below 430, and in 2008 it was here. Okay. So interesting. This is by Forbes. Cheap oil edging us toward global economic collapse. Everybody seems to think, oh, the gas prices are awesome. Just because it's only $2.50 a gallon in California, it's probably cheaper somewhere else, doesn't mean that it's a good thing. It says persistently low oil prices represent a risk on par with the housing bust. So it's not a good thing when you're looking at it from the economist's point of view. So it just means that our economy is not good when the oil prices are low. And then this one is waiting for it to load. This is a page that has many posts It says End Times and 2019.wordpress.com. So it's a blog page. It has where a lot of different people have posted. These are from February 12, February 9, 8, 3rd, so this month. And you can click on it and read the whole article or post. But Jim Willie warns Deutsche Bank is on the verge of collapse. Citibank and many others will fall next. Riots in Athens as Greek economy strains under crushing debt, so still they're having problems. Debt is sucking America dry. Insider claims Wells Fargo is preparing for complete economic collapse. Somebody had a YouTube video showing how Wells Fargo was conducting drills with their employees on how to only let 3 people in at a time and how to keep everything, they were doing scenario drills on that. This one talks about the global shipping and the economic collapse, ? The end of Europe. Ron Holland predicts major stock market crash in 2016 as a result of Obama policy. We know that Walmart announced that 154 more stores are closing. I heard 259. So timing of the economic crash of 2016. So I'm going to leave a link to this. There's a bunch of articles or posts on this. My last page here. I thought this was interesting. This is just something I found when I was trying to look up something to go, something that went with collapse within a collapse, as the Lord told me. There will be a collapse within a collapse. I thought this was interesting because this person's page shows society's 5 stages of economic collapse. So society as we know it will break down and collapse in a 5-stage process outlined here. While it can be accelerated by certain events like war, a natural disaster, pandemic, terrorist attack, or even an impending asteroid impact, history has shown that economic collapse will essentially happen in this 5-stage process. To survive the collapse, it's important to read and interpret the signs and understand what assets are important to the current situation so you can be prepared for the worst, thereby allowing you to survive intact and with as little damage as possible. Number 1, the decay begins. We're already past this stage. Everything's good, the economy is thriving, a high standard of living has been achieved. This is the way things should be. Goods are cheap and readily available, everything seems to be in abundance, stores are filled, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So, stage 2, the slippery slope. The economy goes into a slow but steadily increasing decline. Unemployment's on the rise. Ever-increasing numbers of people receive government assistance in one form or another. People are paid to not work. Government spending has increased dramatically. The price of gold, silver, and other precious metals rise to prices unheard of just a few years earlier. Inflation reaches the double-digit level. Okay, I believe we're on that. We're just passing that slippery slope. Stage 3, it's going to get worse. The total collapse of the economy begins after significant and prolonged decline. The government implements price controls. Shortages on essential goods become widespread, which I believe we're going to see very shortly. I already saw that happening in some of the stores. Foreclosed houses sit vacant and deteriorating by the tens of thousands. Middle-class neighbors begin to look like slums. The government begins to print currency to pay its bills. They're already doing that. They've been doing that since last February. And support the tens of millions on public assistance. Inflation increases even more, and unemployment exceeds 25%. Now, the government says it's the lowest it's been, since 2008. Well, that's not true, because when you're on unemployment, you only get benefits for a year, and after a year, you're kicked off. So you're not registered as unemployed anymore because you're not collecting unemployment, but doesn't mean you have a job. Banks and businesses fail at ever-increasing rates. That's what we're going to start seeing now. Banks going out, just like we did in 2008. Nobody seems to have any money. Many are now homeless. Labor unions instigate strikes, civil unrest, and large-scale riots. Government services are interrupted, and unreliable local and national infrastructures are in decay. Violent gangs begin to appear and assert themselves. The government begins confiscation of firearms, which then you're going to have civil unrest for sure. From law-abiding citizens, violence is everywhere. This is what I believe is going to start beginning in 2016 sometime. Cities and urban areas became very dangerous places to live. At this stage, the country seems pretty much beyond the point of no return. However, things can still be reversed if the right person at the top really believes in the basic fundamental concepts of freedom, independence, liberty, and individual rights, and is not afraid to do what is necessary to reverse the current trend. That's not going to happen with Obama. Stage 4, the grab for power. The collapse can transition to this stage at any time after stage 3. Most of the middle class has lost everything, blah, 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 blah. Okay, this is where they'll implement martial law, and you will be living in a third world country. Okay, life as you know it will cease to exist. And food and gasoline is very expensive, and there are very long lines to get them when they are available, just like Venezuela is doing right now. Okay. Right here. There is a rush for everything, and the shelves go empty in a matter of hours. Society falls into chaos. The control of urban areas shifts when violent gangs take over. The government issues restrictive measures in an attempt to control the economy. That's martial law. So this is unfortunately where we will head once everything passes the point of no return. Stage 5 is next, and it's not pretty. Stage 4 was bad enough. But the government, freedom, liberty, and independence are lost. The government implements martial law, so it was on the verge for stage 4, but stage 5, they implement it. And maintaining more than 30 days supply of food is considered hoarding and is illegal, because if we already have laws on the books that if they implement martial law, then they have the right to confiscate the food that people have saved. So that they can feed everyone else. Severe poverty and starvation become common sight. The government offers marginally acceptable food, water, shelter in exchange for your freedom, liberty, and independence. So they're basically blackmailing you. They're forcing you to obey in order to give you food. And that's where I don't want to be. I don't want to be forced to succumb to their demands just to feed myself. Democracy ends and a socialistic form of government takes over. A totalitarian regime assumes power, and the individual freedoms and liberties once enjoyed by people are completely eliminated. Okay, so failure to prepare today will increase the magnitude of your suffering tomorrow. David Meyer wrote, "It is better to prepare 10 years too early than 10 minutes too late. Many who lack vision will say that it will never happen, and for those who decide to live unprepared, should consider the following statement: lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on my part. Strength and wisdom has the man who prepares and invests the necessary assets to protect his family against the dangers of future disasters, regardless of how many people may laugh at his efforts." And the Bible even says in Luke that a righteous man takes care of his family, and if he doesn't, he's worse than an infidel. So this morning, before I was going to put this all together, sorry for being a half hour long, or 32 minutes long, as I still have to read Psalm 31. As I was contemplating all these looking for these articles and contemplating how to relate the word he gave me, there will be a collapse within a collapse, in regards to the economic collapse and then the collapse of society as we know it. He told me to share Psalm 31. The Lord, title of this chapter, "The Lord, a Fortress in Adversity," which I thought was, wow, that has to be the Lord. He's our fortress in adversity. "In you, O Lord, I put my trust. Let me never be ashamed. Deliver me in your righteousness. Bow down your ear to me. Deliver me speedily. Be my rock of refuge, a fortress of defense to save me. For you are my rock and my fortress. Therefore, for your name's sake, lead me and guide me. Pull me out of the net which they have secretly laid for me. For you are my strength. Into your hand I commit my spirit. You have redeemed me, O Lord, God of truth. I have hated those who regard useless idols, but I trust in the Lord. I will be glad and rejoice in your mercy, for you have considered my trouble. You have known my soul in adversities, and have not shut me up into the hand of the enemy. You have set my feet in a wide place. Have mercy on me, O Lord, for I am in trouble. My eyes waste away with grief. Yes, my soul and my body, for my life is spent with grief, and my years with sighing. My strength fails because of my iniquity, and my bones waste away. I am a reproach among all my enemies, but especially among my neighbors, and am repulsive to my acquaintances. Those who see me outside flee from me. I am forgotten like a dead man, out of mind. I am like a broken vessel, for I hear the slander of many. Fear is on every side. While they take counsel together against me, they scheme to take away my life. But as for me, I trust in you, O Lord. I say, you are my God. My times are in your hand. Deliver me from the hand of my enemies, and from those who persecute me. Make your face shine upon your servant. Save me for your mercy's sake. Do not let me be ashamed, O Lord, for I have called upon you. Let the wicked be ashamed. Let them be silent in the grave. Let the lying lips be put to silence, which speak insolent things proudly and contemptuously against the righteous. Oh, how great is your goodness, which you have laid up for those who fear you, which you have prepared for those who trust in you. In the presence of the sons of men, you shall hide them in the secret place of your presence from the plots of man. You shall keep them secretly in a pavilion from the strife of tongues. Blessed be the Lord, for he has shown me his marvelous kindness in a strong city. For I said in my haste, I am cut off from before your eyes. Nevertheless, you heard the voice of my supplications when I cried out to you. O love the Lord, all you his saints, for the Lord preserves the faithful, and fully repays the proud person. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart, all you who hope in the Lord. God bless.